Hello and welcome, my name is Piera and today I'm here with my Bookish Pet Peeves. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Feel free to shoot me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you really want to. Otherwise, stay tuned for my Bookish Pet Peeves. Now, preface this by saying, I don't hate these things in every book. If they're done well, I don't mind them, and some of my favorite books have a lot of these things in them. But it's when they're done poorly that it stands out really obviously and it irks me, and even when it's done well, it sometimes still irks me. So these are just a few things that when I read, I'm either like, ugh, or I'm like, ugh. Number one, my probably most hated pet peeve, and like the thing that really irks me the most, whether it's done well, whether it's done poorly, in any book, is when a protagonist keeps everything to themselves. Like you have a protagonist who has this secret master plan, and they just won't tell the other people who it maybe involves. Like sometimes I get it, sometimes you need that secrecy for the plan to go off without a hitch. But there are times where I'm just like, just tell them. Just tell them what the plan is. Like just tell them. I personally hate surprises. If I was like a protagonist in a book, or if I was a side character in a book and there was a plan going on and I didn't know about it, that would frustrate the hell out of me. Tell me, just be straight up, no pussyfooting, just be like, hey bro, this is the plan, we're gonna do this, so I need you to act like this, or I need you to be part of it like this. Just share, man. Just everyone needs to be across it. Which I guess kind of then leads into my next point, which is characters who don't talk. This often happens mostly in like relationships. Like they just don't talk about things, and therefore everything just becomes overcomplicated. Like my best example is in the Winners trilogy by Marie Rutowski. Literally every single one of the issues that arose in that book was because the two characters would not have a conversation. It wouldn't be like, hey, I heard some goss, can you clarify? Or, hey, I heard you did this, can you clarify? They were just like, oh, I guess he just did it, so I'm angry. Or, like, there were literally sentences where she's like, I could tell him, but I chose not to. Just do it, just tell him, just say it out loud. I'm a fan of like direct bluntness, like just tell me what's going on, tell me how you feel, like just put it out there, lay it out for me so we can go from there, instead of just keeping secrets and not talking about problems, and it drives me nuts. I think just secrets in general seem to be like my main pet peeve. When they're a thing that you can just say and you can just tell and it's not actually a problem, but you're making it bigger than it needs to be. So therefore overcomplicating things. Which I guess leads, oh my god, into another point, is characters who find something out, or they discover a magical power, or they have something and they don't tell like their best friend. Like if I woke up one morning and I had magical powers, I wouldn't be like, ooh, I've got to hide this power. And I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna tell this random boy who's been stalking me for 3 weeks who's all dark and moody. I would be like, yo, Jacob, wanna see a trick? Ooh, levitation. Or I'd be like, hey, you wanna see something cool? Bam, you're on fire. I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna hide this secret power because, oh, what will people think of me? I don't understand this whole, I can't tell anyone and I have to keep it to myself, and then when things go horribly wrong and they get outed and they're just like, surprise, I didn't know how to tell you. I woke up this morning with magical abilities. Characters that have dumb ideas. I relate this one to horror movies when the murderer is downstairs trying to kill you and you decide to run upstairs to hide, where there's literally no way out. It's dumb ideas like that, where like a character's like, I'm gonna do this, and you're like, no, why? Why would you do that? What reason is that? Like, what is that gonna achieve? Nothing. And I know sometimes it furthers the plot or it adds dramatic tension, but I'm like, just don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Missing memories and amnesia. Why? And more so of that, I have woken up with amnesia and I don't remember that I'm engaged to Jacob. Jacob doesn't go, hey Piera, you've lost your memories, we're engaged, here's all the proof and some memories. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you for reasons. Oh, you've gotta fall in love with me all over again because reasons. I'm like, bitch, just tell me. If I've just forgotten something, just be like, hey, I don't want to like freak you out or anything, but you are actually in love with me, or you actually suffered some trauma, or like, that's a different whole kettle of fish. But you know what I mean? Like if I woke up with amnesia or someone wiped my brain, just tell me. Then I could be like, oh wow, really? And then go and look for proof, as opposed to being like, no, that can't be. Just think logically, people. And of course, gullible characters. So therefore, like, I believe everything everyone says at face value, as opposed to, like, I'm just a skeptical, cynical person in general. So when someone tells me something, I'm always like, yeah, I'm okay, like a little sauce. But it's when people are like, yes, I believe you. My true love obviously was off kissing this other girl because he loves her, not me. So I will believe that, as opposed to she jumped him, or he kissed her because it was gonna break a magic spell on her and he's a nice guy. Like there are always reasons for things. Like people just don't do things. there are reasons for things, and so if we just discussed the reasons, I'm sure you'd like figure it out, as opposed to being like, I walked in at the wrong time, saw my man talking to a woman, he hates me, leaves. Like, just have a conversation. When the protagonist trusts the villain for whatever reason, whether it's they actually trust the villain or they're like, I'm gonna use this trusting the villain as a large plot point in a way to, I don't really trust the villain, but like, it's Darrow and the Jackal. It's Darrow and Apple. Like, just, Darrow don't. Darrow, no. Don't trust the Jackal because he'll kill your best friend and then he'll ruin your life. Don't trust Apple because I'm sure he's gonna do something terrible in the next book. Like, there are all these options, and he's like, oh no, it's okay. And then, like, this one is just purely Darrow. I'm gonna trust the Jackal, but I don't really trust the Jackal. I'm just gonna use the Jackal, but then the Jackal gets the one up and it just ruins Darrow. So like, tell me that's not gonna happen again with Apple. And if it doesn't, I'll be genuinely surprised. It's just one of those ones where you're like, no, what does that achieve? Like, I'm such a petty person that if there's someone I hate, I can't just hang out with them and be friends with them to get something that I want. I can't, that doesn't make sense to me. Just to have them like working together, it doesn't compute. Characters who don't want to let down their parents or their siblings for whatever reason. Oh, I didn't do this because I didn't want to embarrass my parents, or I didn't want to let my parents down. Like, just do it. Just do it. Clearly I'm not someone to be taking like life advice from, but like, oh, I want to study at the scholars school and be a medicine keeper, but my parents will disown me. Just do it. Do it anyway. When you've got like the sibling and it's like, oh, I couldn't because my sibling would be mad. Like, if your sibling loves you, like, I would just assume that they're like, it's cool, I understand, even if I don't agree. Or if they just don't, then they're not worth your time. Ooh, another one. Assassins that don't actually kill anyone. Assassins who spend the whole book saying, I'm so cool and badass, and she's so cool and badass, and she killed people with like her bare hands, and ooh, assassin who's big and scary and kills people, but then just doesn't kill anyone and decides that they have a moral compass all of a sudden. Like, if you're an assassin, kill people for money, like that's like your day job, and if you don't want to do that, then just don't call yourself an assassin. Crazy. Everyone is incredibly plain and untalented, but super attractive, and everyone's attracted to them and good at all forms of combat. That just doesn't need even, I don't even need to explain that one. Underdeveloped villains. I'm bad, just cause. I'm angry, just cause. I can't be talked around. I have no depth. I am not 3D, just cause. Unrealistic sex scenes. Let me tell you a thing about unrealistic sex scenes. Every sexual encounter you have is not going to be incredible, life-changing, orgasmic, 10 out of 10, I see angels, hark the heralds sing. That is not how it goes. Can I just put that out there? Sex will be awkward, sex will be uncomfortable, it will be painful, it will be embarrassing. You'll do things that you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that. You'll do things that you're like, oh, I don't like that. Or you'll do things that you're like, oh, I didn't want to admit that I like that, but I do like that. So can we just not act like every single sexual experience, and especially losing virginity. Now, I don't know about you, and I don't know how personal we're gonna get. My first time was not overly enjoyable. So I don't understand how everyone's like, first time is just this incredible life awakening. I mean, like, it could be. Like, if you're out there having the best time of your life, kudos to you, keep doing what you're doing, share your secrets. When they're having sex and it's like, it's the first time, nothing hurt, I wasn't uncomfortable, I didn't look down at my body and think, I'm crunching in a way that makes it look like I've got a donut for a stomach. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's off my chest, and they were some of my bookish pet peeves. Just a few things that drive me nuts in books. Like I said, some of them are done well, so I don't mind it as much. Some of them, when they're completely obvious, that I'm like, ugh. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your bookish pet peeves are in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye!